Hello and welcome. My name's Kat. Welcome to this YouTube channel and welcome to today's class, which has been a long time coming. I've been promising this for a while. It's a nice gentle sequence for our moon cycle. So a menstrual sequence, and we're going to start in Supta Baddha Konasana. So you need a bolster, a blanket, a strap and 2 blocks, and maybe another blanket depending on the thickness of your bolster. So gathering all that stuff, and let's meet back here. Here's our setup. So this extra blanket is for those of you who have very thick bolsters combined with slight fragility in the lower back. Sometimes there are bolsters that are really thin. This one's quite a thick one, and so you might want to have a little blanket here just to reduce the amount of arch in the lower back area when you lie down. So that's really dependent on you. I'm going to move mine aside and be sitting on the floor. We start off on our blankets. If you have the blanket here, it's just waiting for you there. Bringing our blocks in and taking our trusty strap, putting it over the feet coming together. The blocks can be on different edges depending on your groins, but we're not there yet. We're going to come forward. And first, let's just tighten the strap up. So putting it over the outside edges of our feet and pulling the strap in as much as we can. And then making sure that the strap at the back here is really low on the hips, not riding up here, but pushing it right down and retightening, so that when we lie down, the strap actually pulls the sacrum towards the front of the mat. Okay, now we're coming in. So we're coming off our bolsters onto our blankets or the floor. And you'll see that we can tighten up a little bit more here and recheck that it's holding the lower back, the hips, the sacrum area, taking our blocks, taking the height that works for us to support the outer thighs. And then we're going to come down. As we come down, we lift the hips and we move the buttocks forward. And then lying down, finding the bolster, moving the blanket in so our neck and the back of our skull are supported. And extending the arms diagonally away from us, rolling each shoulder back so that the chest is really open. Finding here soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations. Allowing the legs to relax and to be supported completely so that the groins can soften. And as the groins begin to soften, then the organs in the abdominal cavity are also going to soften. Soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations. And now let's bring the arms back behind us. So lifting the arms up, bending the elbows, holding onto the outer arms, and bringing the arms over, the forearms resting on the blankets. Make sure that the buttocks, the sacrum, are still moving towards the heels. And then gently closing the eyelids and being here in Supta Baddha Konasana. With an exhale, re-relax the groins, re-relax the buttocks, the hips. With an exhale, relax all of the organs of excretion, all of the organs of reproduction. Keep the hands purposeful on the upper arms, on the elbows. They're pulling the elbow tips back, lengthening. Seeing how that opens the armpit area, how that broadens the ribs underneath the armpits. And keep exploring that space with the inhale, trying to broaden those side ribs off the lungs. The abdomen continually softening. Each breath cycle soothing it into more and more softness. Relax the shoulders back. Keep the front throat soft. The face soft. And we're going to change the cross of the arms now. So first of all, stretching the arms back so that the arms are parallel, the palms facing each other. And re-explore a new sense of length to the pose. And then bending the elbows and changing the cross of the arms and resettling down. Soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations. Gently sending a stream of exhalation to the groins, to the pubic bone, to all of the organs beneath. Waves of softness. Keep using the hands to encourage the elbow tips to move back. See how that lengthens the triceps, opens the armpits, and opens the ribs underneath the armpits. So that there's a sense of freedom from inside, of spaciousness from inside, expanding. And now releasing the elbows, re-stretching the arms back, reaching with the fingertips for the back wall, and feel with this verticalization, this lengthingness, how the abdominal cavity has more space. And then bringing the arms back up, the eyes opening, and the elbows and arms back to the floor. Making our way back up. And then releasing ourselves from the strap. Taking that strap off, and we are now preparing for Supta Virasana. So if you have very tight front thighs, you have two options. You can either do one leg at a time, Ardha Supta Virasana, or you can take a second bolster and put it here. So there's little increments, and then the blanket on top of the second bolster to help you to lie down. So either one leg at a time or both legs, 2 bolsters, 1 bolster. Let's come in to Supta Virasa. Pulling the calves back so that the back of the knee is open, and then pulling the calves out to the side, which helps us to prepare to sit down. So you're either sitting on the floor or on the blanket. And our straps going around the knees and the shins and tightening up. Pulling those outer feet in. And then pressing with our hands on the outer skirting of the feet down to the ground. So we're really right on the dorsal part of the foot. And now let's begin lying down. First of all, lifting the hips, the buttocks, and moving them forward, tilting the pelvis. And then lying back down. I'm going to pull my bolster in just a little closer. There we go. Adjusting the blanket for the neck and head. And starting as we did in Supta Baddha Konasana, with the arms first of all extended diagonally out to the side. And when the arms are diagonally out to the side, we can connect with broadness. When the arms are above, it increases the length. So just settling into that broadness of the pubic bone, broadness of the abdominal cavity, broadness of the ribs, soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations. Really encouraging the trunk, the torso to melt over the support of the bolster. And now we're going to lift the arms up, bending the elbows, holding onto the upper arms, and bringing the arms over. And immediately we can feel more length coming. These bottom ribs here lifting up, so they're no longer pressing and tight against the top of the abdominal area here. Keep pulling the elbow tips back to encourage that opening. With each inhale, the intercostal muscles stretching and broadening. And as we exhale, keeping those intercostal muscles spaced and broad, not letting them close down with the exhale. And the eyelids gently closing. Soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations, reconnecting with regularity, with evenness. The front thighs pressing downwards. With an exhalation, completely pacify the abdominal area. Looking for any little areas that might still be holding tension or feeling tight, or maybe not even having any feeling at all. How can we meet them? How can we greet them? How can we send breath there so that they become sensitive, awake, alive? And through that, able to relax more and more profoundly. We're going to change the cross of the arms. So stretching the arms back, lengthening, pressing the front thighs down. Keep stretching the arms, feeling the space in the abdomen lengthen and broaden. And then changing the cross of the arms. and settling back down to our second side. Long, deep, soft inhalations. Long, deep, pacifying exhalations. The root of the tongue, passive. All of the little muscles around the eyes releasing. The forehead smooth, unclenched. Keep pulling the elbow tips back, feeling more and more sensation of space in the armpits. And from there, traveling to the side ribs underneath the armpits and broadening, lifting them off the side lungs. And then releasing the arms, lifting the arms back up, the eyelids opening, bending the elbows to the mat, and making our way up, nice and gently, stage by stage. And then pressing into the hands to lift the buttocks up and to move them back, and being in Virasana. Taking our straps off and releasing our legs in a light Uttanasana. Squeezing the knees up, squeezing the thighs up. And then bending the knees and coming back down. Okay, we're going to use the bolster and move this blanket to the side now for some light twists, Baddhavajasana. And I'm going to turn this way so that you can better see what's going on as we twist. So we're sitting on the end of the bolster and our legs are folded to the left. I'm just going to show you the feet. You want the top foot, the dorsal foot, to rest on the arch of the bottom foot. Make sure that you're right on the end and then widen the sit bones apart. This is our starting point. Okay, we're turning and twisting to the right. So Urdhva Hastasana, which brings lift and brightness to the sternum chest. And exhale, turning and twisting, fingertips of the back hand onto the block and this front hand pressing against the outside edge of the thigh. Both hands are purposeful. The hand on the thigh is pushing to help us turn and twist. And the back hand, the elbow is bending and the trunk is following the bend of that back elbow. Keep moving into the abdominal area and checking for those hidden tensions. We really want to allow the organs to be soft, to be organic and spongy, to release their hardness, their grippingness. And the more they release, the more they can gently twist and turn. And then coming back up through Urdhva Hastasana. And releasing to change sides. So we're going to be twisting to the left, the top foot, dorsal foot over the sole of the bottom foot, widening the sit bones apart, Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale and turning and twisting, making this hand on the thigh firm. That's the traction point from which to turn and twist more. The back arm, seeing if you can bend the elbow and move that outer arm back and watch the trunk follow that action. Check that both sit bones have equal weight on the bolster, that the abdomen isn't hardening, that it's dissolving, that it's liquefying, that the organs are soft, so that with each exhale they can gently turn more and more. And then coming back up through Urdhva Hastasana, lift the chest, and exhale and releasing. We're going to do one more Balavajasana on each side, changing the feet. So first of all, just bring the feet to the other side. And now this time, instead of the top foot being on the bottom foot, we're changing like that. Can you see? There we go. And coming into our Balavajasana with those feet slightly switched. Widening the sit bones apart. Urdhva Hastasana. Bringing length and lift. And exhale, turning and twisting to the right. Immediately engaging the power of both of your hands and arms to help hold you in that twistingness, and to invite the body to twist more. Now turn the head forward, away from the twisting action, but keep twisting and turning. So we're not involving the neck, the abdomen soft. Over and over again, those exhalations, gently deepening the softening and the twisting. And now turn the head back and give a last deep, long exhalation. And coming back out, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhaling to change sides. So moving the feet over and remembering that this time it's the other foot that is on the sole of the foot. Widening our sit bones apart. Urdhva Hastasana. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, turning and twisting. Connecting with the hands, guiding us into that twist. Making sure both sit bones have equal pressure so that the twist is coming from a well-structured base. And now turn the head forward, but keep twisting. The shoulder blades going down the back, not hunching up. And over again, connecting with the softness of all of our organs as we twist and turn. And now turning the head back. And one final nice, long, deep exhalation, going with that, twisting into that. And then bringing the arms back up. And exhaling and releasing. Coming to Janu Shirshasana now. So bolster and a blanket and maybe a strap if it's hard for you to reach your feet with your hands when you're coming forward in forward bends. The blanket is here and it's placed on the left-hand side of the mat because we're going to be sitting on this corner. So go ahead and come and place yourselves on that corner. The right leg bent to Janu Shirshasana leg, heel close to the groin, and the left leg extended in line with the hip. So avoiding this tendency. With your hands reaching back and widening the sit bones apart. So you're sitting on the inner sit bones and the shape of the blanket is helping you to feel that. The bolster is going to be for our forehead. If you think that you need more support, you can pile up blankets so that the forehead easily has something to rest on. And when our forehead is resting, it's a deep pacification of the brain and the nervous system. Okay, starting from Urdhva Hastasana. Getting that length, getting that lift. Now turning to the left, so slight twist that our last pose has prepared us for. And then exhaling forward and holding onto the inner and outer foot or a strap. See how the bolster feels, check. Moving forward or back as needed. Inhale and exhaling forward, resting the forehead on your support. If the elbows are able to bend, make sure that they move out away from each other, which is encouraging the trunk, the back, to follow the action of broadness even as we're coming forward. Relax the abdomen completely. And with each exhale, gently turning the abdomen to the left. Through softness, not through hardness. The turning is coming through softness, through malleability. Connect with your bent leg. Go to the inner groin of the bent leg. And roll the inner groin of the bent leg back to the outer groin. Keep that inner groin rolling back. The face completely soft, innocent. Allowing the pose to do us, to bring its healingness. And then lifting the head, bringing the hands to the bolster, lifting the arms back up, length, lift and brightness, turning a little bit to the right, and exhaling and releasing. Changing sides. So we have to flip the blanket so that we're utilizing this corner. And sitting here, left leg into Janu Shirshasana leg, right leg and the foot in line with the hip. Then reach and widen the sit bones. Pull them back and out to the side so you're sitting on the inner edge of the sit bones and placing the bolster. Urdhva Hastasana. Outer elbows in and lifting the arms up. Turning to the right, finding that twistingness through softness. And exhaling forward. And finding the inner and outer foot or the strap. And with an exhale, descending the head down and resting the forehead on your support. Soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations, like waves of breath, constant and even. Make sure you're not hardening the jaw, the tongue, or the forehead. The skin of the forehead gently moving towards the nose, not towards the hairline. Then traveling to the bent leg, specifically to the inner groin of the bent leg. And roll the inner groin to the outer groin. And keeping that in place, using the next exhale to gently turn the abdomen to the right without hardness. Very soft, fluid twistingness. If the elbows are able to bend, make sure that they're bending and broadening away from each other so that we feel that being emulated in the back, in the shoulders, in the hips. And then lifting the head, moving the hands back to the bolster, and lifting out through Urdhva Hastasana, lifting the cellular chest to the sky, turning the trunk a little bit to the left, and then bringing the arms down and releasing. Okay, coming now for Paschimottanasana. So we want to move our blanket to the middle so that both sit bones are equally on the blanket. Taking a seat, widening our sit bones apart, and widening the feet apart just a little bit so that each foot is connected to each hip. With the hands rolling the thighs slightly in and re-widening the sit bones apart. The outer edges of the feet are coming back towards the hips, and we're pushing out through the inner part and particularly between the big toe and the index toe, like a little flame coming out there. Okay, our bolster. Urdhva Hastasana. So outer elbows in, inhale lifting, and exhale, holding the outer skirting of the feet or using straps, checking that the bolster is in the right place for you, adjusting as needed, and then reaching back for the feet. And with an exhalation, lowering the forehead down to your support. Connecting with breath. Penetrating. Having that expansive presence everywhere. The hands reminding the outside edges of the feet to travel down the outer legs towards the outer hips. The heels pressing into the mat, and both of the thighs slightly rolling in, just as we adjusted them, so that we can feel the width of our sit bones. We're not allowing our sit bones to come together. They're staying spread and pressing down into the blanket. Relax the jaw completely and any tensions that you might find on the facial features. Soft and smooth, regular breath cycles. The skin of the forehead gently moving towards the nose. And this is helping to keep the back of the neck long. And of course, as the elbows start to bend, we're widening them apart from each other so that the back can copy that broadness. Feeling the length and the broadness simultaneously. Keep relaxing the abdomen, unclenching areas of tension that you may become aware of as you breathe, as you travel through the inner landscape. A sense of releasing into the pose without losing the integrity of the alignment, but releasing into it. And then lifting the head, bringing the hands to the bolster, coming back up through Urdhva Hastasana, and then bringing the arms back down and releasing. Upavishta Konasana. I'm going to move so that you can see me properly from that angle, but you can stay where you are. Same height underneath the buttocks. The legs wide. Rolling the thighs in slightly, like we did in our Paschimottanasana, and widening our buttocks apart, pulling them back and out. So the inner groins are moving towards the ground. The outer feet coming down the outer edges of the legs to the hips. And our bolster and a blanket for the forehead. So bringing the bolster right in so that it's holding the pubic bone in place. Normally when we come forward, we let the pubic bone drop. And here the bolster is going to hold the pubic bone so that it stays perpendicular to the ground. And we're ready to come forward, fingertips to the floor. Keep the legs firm as we slowly come forward, allowing the organic body to rest on the bolster. And this edge right here is going to be for our forehead so that our noses aren't squished against the bolster. So we're bringing our arms forward. We're bending the elbows and holding on to the upper arms, and then moving the inner elbows forward, bringing length to the tricep area. And when everything feels just right, exhaling the forehead down to the blanket. Keep the shoulders broad, moving away from the ears. Keep the heels firm, the thighs rolling slightly in so that the inner groins are moving towards the earth. Soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations. Trying to melt any tension that you feel in the groins. And letting the presence of the bolster help to massage gently through the breath all of the organs in the abdominal cavity, so that more and more any residual tension is being released. Then lifting the head up, we're going to change the cross of the arms. So first, stretching the arms, pressing the heels down, pressing the sit bones down, feeling them spreading, pressing evenly. And now changing the cross of the elbows, pulling the inner elbows forward. And with an exhale, bring the forehead back down to the blanket. Deep, regular, soothing breath cycles. Feel the broadness of the back. Enjoying the support that the bolster is bringing to the organs and also to the lower back, so that everything can completely relax there, free of strain. The entire face also free of strain, passive and soft. And then lifting the head back up, releasing the arms, fingertips to the floor, slowly, gently coming up. Bringing the hands back, lifting the chest. And we can move into our next position. Preparing for a nice supported Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So we're going to need a bolster, a blanket, 2 blocks and a strap, and a wall. So gathering that stuff, moving the mat out of the way, and let's meet there. So our blocks are against the wall. These are going to be for our heels. And we're going for the highest height because we want the least strain and the most pacification. And the bolster is going to be for our spine. And the blanket is going to be for our shoulders. And the strap for our legs. But let's just test out our distance first. It's going to look like this. And this is why we have no mat, so we can slide back. And we want the edges of the shoulders to be on the blanket, but the shoulder blades are being pressed by the front of the bolster. Okay, I'm just going to come up. And I want to say that if that feels really extreme on your shoulders, you can take a second blanket, put it here. Actually, you could use this blanket and just do a fold like this to make a little bit more height, so it's a little bit less of a distance. All right, so when you feel that you have everything set up just right for you, let's enter and put the straps on our legs. Tightening up. Buckle in the middle. Preparing to come in. Heels to the blocks. Pushing ourselves backwards. Head to the blanket. And then push into the feet to move the entire body back until the edges of the shoulders come onto the blanket. And then straighten the legs completely. Arms diagonally away. Roll the front shoulders back. Soft, smooth inhalations and exhalations. The eyelids can close. The sacrum is moving towards the heels. The outer edges of the feet are coming towards the hips. And we're using the soft power of the exhalation to keep releasing into deeper and deeper layers of softness. The entire abdominal cavity is melting towards the bolster. And now as we breathe here in smooth and even regular breath cycles, with each inhale, at the beginning of the inhale, feel the back body lifting. In the middle of the inhale, move the attention to the side body and feel it broadening. And at the very end of the inhale, move the attention to the front ribs and feel them lifting. And when we exhale back through those three areas, front, side, and back, making sure that they don't close down again, that they don't grip in around the lungs. So here we go. Inhaling, feeling the back body, the sides, the front. And as we exhale, keeping the expansion of the front, the sides, and the back. When the mind wanders, just bring it back to these locations, to the breath. Make sure that the shoulders aren't unconsciously holding on or gripping up. Make sure that the face also isn't holding on to little bits of tension or effort. So scan the face from underneath, relaxing the lips, the eyes, the forehead, relaxing the temples. Keep feeling the breath being distributed in the back body, the side body, the front ribs. And observe how when the ribs lift and broaden, the abdomen can further recede towards the lower back, towards the bolster. And in that recedingness, a deep softening of all of the cells, a deep release and unclenching. Being in a state of peaceful restingness. No striving for anything. Allowing ourselves to be completely supported by the bolster, by the blocks, by the floor. No need to hold on or to try harder. Just soft, smooth, regular breaths. Feeling the back body, the side body, the front body, resting in all of that noticing. And now just lifting the hands off the ground, gently opening the eyelids. And bending our legs, bringing the feet onto the floor. And now gently rolling over. Before making our way back up for our last and final asana, Shavasana. So straps off the legs. Taking our mats, unrolling them. We'll use the bolster under our knees and the blanket folded in half underneath the neck and the head. Bringing the legs over. Pressing into the hands to lift the buttocks up and tilt the pelvis so that as we lie down, there's no chance of the lower back arching. And then moving the blanket so that it's not underneath the shoulders, just the neck and the head. And then relaxing the legs, letting them roll open, the inner groin, rolling to the outer groin. Re-tilting the pelvis, extending the arms diagonally away, and then lifting each shoulder up one at a time to really roll that front shoulder back. And when everything feels just right, with an exhale, the eyelids softly closing and releasing into Shavasana. out, then slowly, softly lifting the hands up and resting them on the abdomen. The eyelids opening. Rolling over to the right. Using the hands to push ourselves up. And taking a final seat to end our practice with a loving kindness prayer. Sukhasana. Palms together in front of the sternum plate. Loka samastaha sukhinho bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the universe know love. May the universe know peace. And may we help all those that we come into contact with to feel the same. Om. Peace. 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 Bringing the hands back to the thighs and gently lifting the chin up. And welcome back. Our practice is complete. And I hope that you can really feel that softness that we settled into, and that the entire reproductive system is also feeling that deep in every single cell, and that softness continues to transport you gracefully through the rest of the day, the rest of the evening. Namaste. Take good care of yourselves. See you soon.